So this video is about the angle bisector theorem. Now you've already done an angle bisector just like you had already done a perpendicular bisector. Think back to the construction manual. One of the things that you had to do was bisect an angle. So what we know is that this line right here is bisecting this angle. Now, the way that you know that is by these. Those are telling you that each of those angles are congruent. And if you know those angles are congruent, you know that that line is a bisector. So what is so important about that? If a point is on the bisector of an angle, so this is the point that's on the bisector of the angle, then the point is equidistant from the sides of the angle. Now we've used this word equidistant. You know that it means equal distance, equidistant. That means that these two segments are congruent. That is the angle bisector theorem. So if you know that this is an angle bisector, then you know that these two sides are congruent. And it goes the other way. If you know that these two sides are congruent, then you know that these two angles are congruent, which makes it be an angle bisector. So let's look at a couple of examples for how you might see these. Alright, so the one at the top left we'll do first. You look at this, and the first thing you notice is, okay, well, I know these two angles are congruent, which means that this is an angle bisector. I have two lines coming from the same point. See the purple point I just made on the line? So what do I know about these two? I know that they have to be congruent. So I solve them by setting them congruent to each other, or setting them equal to each other. 4x plus 9 equals 6x minus 3. Solve it like you would any other algebra problem. I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides, add 3 to both sides, cancel those out, leaves me with 12 equals 2x, divide by 2, x equals 6. Now, if you were asked what the length of one of the sides was, obviously you would plug it back in. You would do 6 times 6 minus 3 gives you 36 minus 3, which is 33. Now, we don't have to plug into both of them because we know they're going to come out to be the same thing. So your answer is x equals 6, or for the length is 33. Now, come down and look at the next one. This is the alternate example I was talking about when I was explaining. On this one, you're not looking for this length. You're given these lengths. So you have to look at it and say, okay, well, I know that both of these lengths are 8. They're coming from the same point on the line, which is this one right here. If they're coming from the same point on the line, this must be an angle bisector. So if this is an angle bisector, what do I know? I know that these two angles must be congruent. Now I can very easily solve for y. By doing what? Setting them equal to each other. 6y equals 4y plus 18. Subtract 4y from both sides. 2y equals 18. Divide by 2. Y equals 9. If I need to plug in to find what my length is, 6 times 9 gives me 54. Those are your answers. That's the angle bisector theorem. After you watch this video, make sure you go and answer the questions.